Hello. Bible study. All right. Let's flip our books to Bibles to 1 Kings 16, verse 29. We're going to read through as much as we can. We're going to get to basically the introduction of Elijah. We're going to backtrack. So we were on 1 Kings 18, I believe 18:20. So we're going to backtrack and we're going to get back towards 20. So, 16, verse 29, 1 Kings. Here we go. In the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, Ahab the son of Omri began to reign over Israel, and Ahab the son of Omri reigned over Israel and Samaria 22 years. And Ahab son of Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord, more than all who were before him. And as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, he took for his wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him. No good. No bueno. He erected an altar for Baal, and in the house of Baal, which he built in Samaria. And Ahab made an Asherah, basically an Asherah pole. Creepy, kind of, looks like a wooden, kind of elfin, deerish god. Creepy looking. Anyways, Ahab did more to provoke the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger than all the kings of Israel who were before him. In his days, Hiel of Bethel built Jericho. He laid its foundation at the cost of Abiram, his firstborn, and set up its gates at the cost of his youngest son, Segub, according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke by Joshua, the son of Nun. Now we're on chapter 17. Here we go. This is our intro to our homie, Elijah. Now Elijah the Tishbite of Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives before whom I stand, there shall be neither dew nor rain these years, except by my word." Verse 2. And the word of the Lord came to him, "Depart from here and turn eastward and hide yourself by the brook of Cherith, which is east of Jordan. You shall drink from the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there." So Elijah gets, what I like to say or joke, mighty tighty whitey on Ahab, and he tells him what's what, because he gets a word from God in his prophecies that there's not going to be no rain because you're doing evil. So he's like, "You're doing evil, homie. Cut it out." But because he's not hearing it, Elisha has to go and hide himself, and then he gets fed by birds. Pretty cool. Anyways, you shall drink from the brook I have commanded, and the ravens to feed you there. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord. He went and lived by the brook Cherith, that is east of the Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening. And he drank from the brook. And after a while the brook dried up, because there was no rain in the land. So now we're getting into an interesting story about a widow and a resurrection. One of the earliest resurrections, I think the first in the Bible, I think. Don't quote me on that. Verse 8. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "Arise, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow to feed there to feed you. So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, a widow was there gathering sticks. And he called to her and said, Bring me a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And as she was going to bring it, he called to her and said, Bring me a morsel of bread in your hand. And she said, As the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. And now I am gathering a couple of sticks that I may go in and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die. Pretty dramatic. And Elijah said to her, No. He's like, Do not fear. Afterward, make something for yourself. And he says, Do not fear. Go and do as you have said, but first make me a little cake of it and bring it to me. And afterward, make something for yourself and your son. For thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, the jar of flour shall not be spent, and the jug of oil shall not be empty until the day of the Lord sends rain upon the earth. Wow. And she went and did as Elijah said. And she and he and her household ate for many days. The jar of flour was not spent, neither did the jug of oil become empty, according to the word of the Lord that he spoke by Elijah. Woo! Powerful. That's cool. That's really cool. So we've got, so far, let's paraphrase. We've got the introduction of Elijah, Tishbite. We've got Ahab being a dumb dude, married a not very good chick. And then we've got Elijah making it very clear to him, hey, shape up, homie. But he don't want to do that. And he gives him the prophecy, and then Elijah has to go into hiding. Anyways, and then Elijah meets this widow, and then this widow has the jar of oil and the flour, and it doesn't ever empty. They get to eat during this drought. So yay, that's pretty cool. How'd that happen? I don't know. It's God. Going on. After this, the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, became ill, and his illness was so severe that there was no breath left in him. So after this, the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, so her son died. And she said to Elijah, What have you against me, O man of God? You have come to me to bring my sin to remembrance and cause the death of my son? And he said to her, Give me your son. And he took him from her arms and carried him up to the upper chamber where he lodged and laid him on his own bed. And he cried to the Lord, O Lord, my God, have you brought calamity even upon the widow with whom I sojourn by killing her son? Then he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried to the Lord, O Lord, my God, let this child's life come into him again. And the Lord listened to the voice of Elijah, and the life of the child came into him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child and brought him down from the upper chamber into the house and delivered him to his mother. And Elijah said, See, your son lives. And the woman said to Elijah, Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in your mouth is truth. Boom. That's pretty cool. All right. We're going to stop there. So, we've gone from end of chapter 16 through chapter 17 and finished. And then we're back on to 18. And then there's this funny interaction between Elijah and Obadiah, which I'll get into another time, but it's pretty hilarious. And then we'll just touch on that later. later. So, what are your thoughts? What you thinking? Don't be thinking Lincoln. Let's have some. Let's talk about it. So, I'm gonna put my face on while we do this. So let's think. We got basically the introduction of one of the coolest dudes that existed. One of the coolest dudes. You know, he may be one of the witnesses that'll come back when you know, we're in the end times and we get one of them back. It could be Enoch, it could be Moses, we don't know. A lot of people like to think Moses because of all the power Moses had. I mean, who knows? I mean, Jesus resurrected this little boy. I mean, look, he did. Let's just be real here. When we're talking about God, we're talking about Jesus. We're talking about his power. You know, because he's the real deal. He died on the cross for our sins. He was here from beginning, and he's here till end. And he's the whole reason why we're here at all. So, I mean, not trying to offend anybody, but I don't care if I do when it comes to that. That's just the true truth. I mean, even Jesus said it when, who was he talking to? The Pharisees, Sadducees he's talking to. And they're just like, how did you know Abraham? And he's just like, I knew him. You know? He just tells them. And then they get all mad. I think they started stoning him at that point, trying to stone Jesus. They tried to stone him several times. But here I'm going off on a tangent now. But let's think. So Elijah, he's basically getting his introduction. He's basically getting his what he's capable of. You know, we're seeing he's a prophet, most deaf. He definitely has been, you know, got power rested upon him of God, you know, putting him to these tasks to make these things happen so that it sends a message to the people of Israel to basically come back to him. You know, because that's what's going on is, you know, the people of Israel starting to get wicked because they got a wicked king. And, you know, it's often the kings of the time represented the ways and the thinkings of the people because the people started to become wicked, you know. And a lot of the times things would go so good for a while, people would forget God because things are going so good for so long, or for a time, they forget. They just lose track. They're just like, oh, nothing's happening. Or maybe nothing good happened and they were going through a lot and they were like, why? You know, who knows? But thing is, Elijah was one of the last prophets of Israel, and so the Lord dwelled strongly in him, so he could send the message like, hey, shape up, people. And then that whole thing happened with the prophets of Baal, where Elijah kills all 450 prophets because he proved who's your daddy to Israel with the sopping of the water at the altar. Licked up the water. I don't know if you remember. So, yeah. And then what's also really cool is the fact that this baby, or this boy, don't know if it's a baby or a boy, gets resurrected by him pleading to God, God, please, you know, you know, and so this is what happened. Anyways, well, that to me is pretty super cool. I don't know what you think, but I think it's pretty super cool. And there's a drought. Things stink right now because everyone's doing evil. And Elijah's just trying to do his part and serve God. And on top of it, he gets fed by a bunch of birds, dude. He gets fed by a brook and some birds. Like, what the heck? How, like, that's cool. That, in my opinion, is really cool. Some birds and a brook. So you gotta think, if you're in a tight situation, you ever get lost in the desert, you know, maybe the Lord will feed you with some birds and a brook. Who knows? Who knows? In my opinion, that is pretty awesome. But yeah. So what do you guys think? Baby, little boy resurrection. Don't know if it was baby or little boy. I got to do some research on that to be sure. See what's what on that. But yeah. So this is the first time I was able to do this in one take, because my father-in-law and my stepdaughter are all chilling with a baby. So I was able to make this happen. One take. No cuts. Pretty cool. You know? I don't know if you learned anything. I don't know if you got anything from this. But, you know, I don't know, like, you can really appreciate the power of God when you hear these stories. I mean, it's supposed to be there to grow your faith. You know? That's just the coolness. This is a coolness story, in my opinion. You know, this is the introduction of our homie Elijah here before he's taken up to the heavens. You know? I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, guys. I mean, you still don't believe. I don't know what to tell you. But if you like the content, and you like my stuff, I have a Cash App, $ Street Preaching Mama. Or you can send it to my email, streetpreachingmama, capital Mama, at AOL.com. So you could do that. You could do that with Zelle. You could do that with Cash App. You could do that with Apple Pay. Street Preaching Mama. That's it. That's all it is. Real simple. Because you know what? That's what I am. I'm a mama. I don't like drama. I just want to teach the word of the Lord and bring Jesus to the masses. That's it. That's all I want to do. And take care of my baby and my hubby and bless my family. Be a blessing to others and not a curse. Oh my goodness. Please, Lord, don't let me be a curse. Anyways, I hope that was good, y'all. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, sorry, I'm just like, need a little, but that's our teaching for today. We'll continue on and get into the interaction between Elijah and the, I think it was I'm just going to call him a minister, Obadiah. All right. Have a blessed one. Have a blessed New Year. Have a blessed life. My channel, I just want to put a message out, is for the support of biblical studies, I love doing makeup. I'm a cosmetologist licensed, and you know, I love to bless, and you know, I also want to, you know, convey a good message out to marriage and bless marriage. So, you know, bless marriage, bless families. That's my whole support. That's my whole spiel. And if you want to hear more, you guys got my info. And if you want to chat, I'm obviously on Facebook. I'm also on other forms of social media. All right. God bless you. Take care. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the word.